Hello, welcome to the conversation here on News Central Television. This is the show where we bring you all the latest political happenings on the African continent. I am Gbenga Aborowa.
And I am Rita Omodia. Happy independence to all Zimbabweans. We celebrated Zimbabwe as they celebrate 42 years of independence. And now today on the program, we'll be telling you about the division in President Uhuru Kenyatta's family over his choice of successor, as we know that elections are in top gear coming August 9th, 2022. Also, Nigeria's main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, will likely settle for indirect primary to pick its 2023 presidential candidate on May 29. So let's start off with Kenya, where there is a twist to choice of presidential candidate in the Kenyatta's home. Now, the publication spotlighted division in President Uhuru Kenyatta's family over his choice of successor. Uhuru has settled on ODM leader Raila Odinga as his preferred successor in the August 9 polls. Supporting the president's choice is his mother, Mama Ngina Kenyatta.
However, the family is not in unison regarding the succession politics, as a different faction has chosen to support Deputy President William Ruto against the first family stance on the matter. The president's first cousin, Kungui Muigai, has opted to support Ruto, contrary to the president's wish. According to Muigai, the Kenyatta family has never read from the same script as regards politics, and hence his decision is no exception. Now, for this conversation, we have African Affairs Analyst, Dr. David Mastanga. He joins us live from Mombasa in Kenya. Good evening to you, Dr. Mastanga.
Good evening to all our viewers and happy 42nd anniversary for Zimbabwe. I've struggled for that country for the last 20 years. Voluntary happy independence.
We're happy to have you. Now,
yes.
Dr. Mastanga, would you say there is a division in the Kenyatta family just because the president's first cousin, Kungi Muigai, has opted to support Deputy President William Ruto? How much political capital does he even possess?
Nothing. Nothing. The answer is nothing. He has been a renegade all along, and he is not the inner family. He's not the inner circle of the family. The entire family of His Excellency, the President, President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, is solely and fully behind the Azimio la Umoja, which is the unity part of that unites Kenyans. The question of this gentleman has been a renegade in all the time. He has, even when the late president was there, he has never been on the same footing. But this is a handout. This is a man looking for handouts. You know, Ruto is a man who gives handouts, gives money. He's not support. He's just a man who did Nikolai Machiavelli style of politics, went to the backyard of the president, and this man planted the seeds of discord against his own boss. So the few people that he has picked, you can see from the nominations that we had just a few days ago, about 3 days ago, it is a disaster. He will not get the vote, and he wants to see the vote from the mountain. You can't insult Kenyatta, and the people of Kenyatta are there watching, and you expect a vote. I'm telling you, this is not important at all. And there is no division in the, at least I am confident in telling you, because I'm very close to the family. I'm confident in telling you that there is no division in President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's family. I would have been the first person to know that there was a division. The MK, the brother of the president, the mother of the president, and the other sisters, they all follow what the children, all of them want a united Kenya. A united Kenya, not a Kenya disruptive with money paid for to give support. Gengi has gone for his money, for money in his pocket. He claims to be an elder. He has split the people, the Kikuyu, not even many, a few elders who came, who went and joined hands. He has no significance at all.
All right, Mastanga, you say there's no division in Kenyatta's family. We know earlier this year, President Kenyatta endorsed his one-time rival, Raila Odinga, for the presidency of Kenya, saying he has the best interests of the country. Now, how important is this endorsement in the grand scheme of Kenyan politics?
Very, very important. My sister and brother in the studios in Nigeria, in Lagos, if Uhuru Kenyatta had not endorsed Raila, this country was burning. This country was going down. This country was going to be destroyed. Uhuru Kenyatta accepted a redemption strategy, a healing process, a forgiveness, reconciliation. You can see most of the countries across Africa are not having that type of reconciliation. And therefore, their healing process is not there. They are going to war, military coups, everything because of lack of the healing process. Raila Odinga agreed to shake hands with Uhuru Kenyatta and put their personal interests aside for the nation called Kenya. What has annoyed Ruto and what annoyed Ruto is what many people are seeing now. Ruto is only ambitious to grab power, but not ambitious to unite the nation. The nation of Kenya needs to be united. Ruto is more of a commercial Nikolai Machiavelli, who was sent by the Emperor of Sicily to go and collect troops from the Pope of Rome, and he formed his own army. That is it. If you have studied political science, that is it. That is what Ruto is. He's just a commercial man. He's not worth a candidate to talk about.
Now, Dr. Mastanga, some analysts have suggested that, President Kenyatta's handshake and the whole BBI and his relationship with former Prime Minister Raila Odinga is not entirely altruistic, that it's a friendship of political convenience, that it supported the BBI, and if BBI was passed, so he could remain in government and be appointed as Prime Minister. That's President Kenyatta. What do you have to say to that?
No. Kenyatta and I, we are together. You will see us in African Union. You will see us coming to Abuja. You will see us coming to Lagos. We want to work for Africa after the tenure of office is over. Don't forget, I am writing the legacy, the documents of His Excellency, the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I have 2 books that I'm writing that you'll soon see. So don't listen to that garbage, because most of the people who are talking are people who don't know exactly. Kenyatta does not want to extend even for 1 day. Kenyatta wants a country handed over to the right people.
No, if the BBI had not been squashed by the Supreme Court...
BBI was not quashed. It was not well done, but not quashed. And you remember, I'm one of the few intellectuals who put in my input. There is nothing in the world, there is no constitution in the world which has got a basic structure. Show me one constitution. All articles in the constitution are changed. They are the same. And I wrote to the judges before the ruling. I was right. I'm vindicated. And in fact, I'm enjoying my sunshine here because all the judges in Kenya read it from my mind. There's no constitution. That's why Britain has no constitution. I've lived in the United Kingdom. I continue to live there for 37 years. I've not seen a written constitution. Why did they abandon it, writing a constitution? Because every article within the norms is equal, no basic structure. We won. What else? It is only a postponement that the procedure was not correct, but not the substance. The substance was to unite Kenya, to bring Kenya together, to reconcile, to heal, to forgive, to truth tell, to account, to remove corruption that is killing most of African countries. My brother and sister, all African countries are on the same knife. Corruption is cutting us to pieces. Chinawa Achebe said, things fall apart. Most African countries are falling apart. The Umofia clan is gone because of corruption. That's what BBI wanted to heal, to bring to justice those who take money. In Africa, you either take them to court in Kenya or you can't shoot them. In China, we shoot corrupt people. They are putting on the firing squad. That's why China is lending us money. Otherwise, China would not be lending us money if they were corrupt people. So that is where the problem is. A united country is better than a disunited country where terrorists roam around, kidnap people, kill people. That is what Kenyatta does not want. He wants to leave a country in the hands of a person who can guide us on national guidance. East African community is growing. We are coming closer to Atlantic Ocean. Who knows? Nigeria tomorrow might be in East African community. And at the same time in ECOWAS. Who knows? We are building the country block by block. As in Nkrumah and the rebellion team disagreed. There were some who disagreed, who wanted to build the whole nation. We are building Africa.
All right, Dr. Mastanga, while you're still talking about the healing process among politicians and, of course, across Kenya, now some people have also believed that the political atmosphere in Kenya has moved from inter-ethnic to interclass competition, where we see the division between the dynasties and the hustlers. Now, do you see this having any impact on the election, or do you feel that Uhuru Kenyatta has created a unity among the different classes, economic classes in Kenya?
The question of class struggle is the most dangerous thing in the world that you can bring to any country in Africa, because we are not yet to the level of understanding democracy and elections. Ruto has brought a danger to the country called Kenya by introducing something called hustler and the dynasty, the rich and the poor. Ruto himself is very rich with billions and billions of money. But he has worked on the younger people and told them that it is those people who have stolen. But he is also a thief, number one. In fact, when you go to the history of Kenya, if you Google now in Google, and I'm telling you free, Google now and see who is the most corrupt man in Kenya, his name and the picture will appear. So he is the one who has created struggle, class struggle against the people of Kenya by saying, dividing the class. Let me come to a class struggle. We are in Easter holiday. Jesus fed 5,000 people at the port of Capernaum. There were people still coming to eat the food when Jesus had already moved ahead from Capernaum, which is Haifa, current Haifa in Israel. If you don't know, you're not been there. He has already gone ahead to do some other work. Those people who ate the bread when Jesus was not there, what do you call them? It is not Ruto, it is not Uhuru who created a class struggle. We are not a communist state. We work hard to earn a living. Some of us have property, have gas.
So you believe that the rhetoric of hustler versus dynasty is just it's divisive politics?
It's very dangerous politics that can...
But Dr. Mastanga, don't you think that this will only take root if there's actually a class struggle in Kenya? I mean, if you're saying Ruto is using that to divide the people, it can only bear root if there's actually class struggle in Kenya.
Yes, he has created a class struggle.
He or the ruling president, Uhuru Kenyatta?
Yes, against Uhuru Kenyatta, not only against Uhuru Kenyatta, against anybody who has money. If you have money in Kenya and you have a very good Range Rover like mine, if you are caught somewhere in a darker place, it means you have stolen. Yet I've worked so hard. I've washed toilets in London. I have washed trains in London. And I've worked so hard to get my Range Rover. Why should you call me a dynasty? I'm not. I've worked hard. Kenya is not a communist state. Ruto wants to create a communist state, a state where we don't like it. Who told you that, who created the class? Isn't it God himself? Why is it that Jesus arrived in Jerusalem on a donkey and not on foot? If you want me to be controversial, can you answer me?
Okay. Now, Dr. Mastanga, yes. Let's go back memory lane. I remember yes. You were a supporter of President Kenyatta and Ruto. You even accompanied them to the International Criminal Court in The Hague. They were like
Don't say
bodies.
I accompanied them. I removed them. I
Yes.
am the only African who opposed anything of taking Uhuru Kenyatta to ICC. Yes,
So,
sir.
yes, but you dealt with them as a united front. They were very united back then. My question to you, Dr. Mastanga, is this. What went wrong? Where did this friendship go sour?
Because this guy did not abide by the 48 rules of power. You can't stab your boss. You can't speak beyond your boss. At that time, I was uniting, I was fighting for them. Everybody had left them to be jailed for life. Ruto would not be talking here. Every African feared. His lips were white. I had to go there and fight the people of ICC to remove Ruto on Rule 68. They even brought Ruto, Rule 68 in order to catch Ruto. I had to fight. I was put in Dutch police. I have never been arrested in Britain, but I was arrested in Dutch because of fighting. Another lady said, we fought her and touched her in a very, the cameras saved us. I'm telling you, my brother and sister, I removed that young man, Ruto, young man, because I'm 67, he's about 55. I removed him from jail. But he has brought very bad politics of undermining his friend, reducing the presidency. The tenure of office has not ended. He has undermined him, backstabbing him. He has been the center of corruption of all cases. In fact, I don't know how his children look at him. Because if I look at a father who is very corrupt, I run away. This is a corrupt man who grabs everything. And he doesn't want to be told you have grabbed too much. And when I supported them at that time, I thought this is a better country, a better Kenya, a better East Africa, a better Africa. Because in Africa, people feared that small ICC. I refused. I said, these ICC cases were not well done. And don't forget, by the way, before I leave, there's a case going on there. That is between the witness tampering under Article 70, where Ruto has been mentioned 870 times. You think a normal judge will not call him tomorrow? You think a warrant will not come tomorrow? Let me tell you, get prepared to cut trees in Africa. In our tradition, when something is going to happen, you cut down the trees to make sure that the people are coming to be there. Okay. And I don't know what happens in your Mafia clan.
All right, Dr. Mastanga, we've been discussing President Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, who he has supported, and of course his deputy, that is William Ruto. It seems that Kenya presidential elections always ends up as a two-horse race. Do you think there's going to be any difference this year, and what are the chances of other candidates?
Raila will win by about 53 to 54%, minus 2 plus 2. I am an opinion expert. That is one of the subjects I read. Very classic. I don't need to. I have scientific poll every 2 weeks. Raila started from 0%, almost 10%, and he has garnered a lot of percentage up to about 53 to 46. Ruto is about 46. But with this bad denomination, Ruto is sinking low. With this organization in the mountain, all what the Azimio, Raila's side needs to do, my sister and brother, is to reorganize Kalonzo to come back and give good PR, amen. And we are coming in. We have given advice. Some of us who can speak to international community, it can listen to us. We have been on Sky News, we have been on BBC, we have been on CNN. We should not bring a person who is not going to do a communication.
So, Dr. Mastanga, you don't see the other contenders as being people who will help grow Kenya, because you're only talking about Raila Odinga.
The man who is uniting a country is the one I can be happy with, my sister. If you are going to dissolve a country and I put it to chaos like Somalia, like Libya, I cannot support you.
Now, Dr. Mastanga, you mentioned the person of Kalonzo Musyoka, the former deputy president of Kenya, the Republic of Kenya. Would you want him to be chosen as the running mate for Raila Odinga. And when is the deadline for choosing the running mates over?
11 days.
And why your choice of Kalonzo Musyoka?
Look, I want to be open. And so nobody controls me from my mouth because I speak my facts. I have my brain. If I were Kenyan, looking at Kalonzo's vote, the rich vote area, I would give him the running ticket. Because President Uhuru Kenyatta has already said he doesn't want people, leadership to remain all the time in one place. And this is why Uhuru Kenyatta said, let Raila also balance the two tribes, the Kalenjin and the Kikuyu, have been dominating the politics of Kenya for a long time. It is time for other tribes also to see what leadership of unity, inclusiveness, how people can work together without fighting. So Uhuru's vision is to have leadership go. But Mount Kenya voting, let me tell you why I would go for Kalonzo. Mount Kenya, there is a lot of squabbles. If you have known political science, in squabbles, there is what we call the voter pattern and the apathy. There could creep a voter apathy in the vote in Mount Kenya. And some people could sit at home and they don't want to come to vote. So if you are relying on Mount Kenya, which is the rich place for votes, you might end up very disgusted. And I am telling you, Ruto will cry. I don't know which river is near Lagos. He will cry tears equivalent to that river because he has relied mostly on Mount Kenya. They can decide. He has insulted their man. He's insulted everybody. They have gone there to insult Uhuru Kenyatta, call him names. I'm telling you, my sister and the viewers, those watching, the people, they are not happy. Why I am saying so? The Baganda, the Zulu, the Ashanti, the Igbo, these are the Shona, these are big tribes in Africa. When they refuse you, when you insult their people, they can stay home. If you look at your elections in Nigeria, you had 84 million people. Only 28 million voted. So that is the voter apathy I'm talking about. Compare it to this region of Africa in Kenya. If the Kikuyus have the highest number of votes, if you have gone there to insult their people, believe me or not, my sister and brother, they could decide that what is it in for us to vote? Our man is not even there. He has been insulted. He's been ashamed. So Ruto could just be wasting his resources. But Raila is a national figure known to every corner of Kenya. Every corner of Kenya, a liberator, a man who fought for the same democracy while Ruto was beating people in 1992. He was beating and cutting people's legs. You know, we cannot accept that. East Africa cannot accept a warmonger who is going to cause problems in the region. We want stability, unity of purpose, reconciliation, healing process, a redemption process.
So, Dr. Mastanga, can you say for sure that this 2022 election is likely to pass without violent incidents? Because we know over the years there's been tensions over constituency boundaries. Are we likely to see a violent-free 2022 election?
My sister, you have asked a very good question. I am a very worried man because of the bad preparations. The Electoral Commission, which you call Nigerian Electoral Commission, which is called Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission, has messed up this. The money is not enough. The gadgets are missing. The BVR kits have been stolen, laptops. Oh my God. You know, the voter education is not there. Up to now, voter education has not begun, has never been there. Up to now, the register is not there. I am honest, and I speak the truth. If I come here on the 11th of August, which you will interview me, because God willing, I will be around. And I will be in a celebratory mood when Raila has won. But I will not be happy because there might be other people saying the two candidates, none of them accept results easily. That's another factor. Raila doesn't accept results quickly. And Ruto is the main man behind all this violence from 1992. He's now on the ballot. If you steal his vote, he has even warned us that if you steal my vote, you think. So I am worried, man, and I'm telling the truth. There could not be a bad election in Africa, my brother and sister. It's like a war at the end.
We do hope that the elections will pass without incident. Thank you very much for your time, as always, Dr. David Mastanga. It was a pleasure talking to you, and enjoy your holidays in your sunny country home in Mombasa.
The holidays are finished. The beaches are now empty. You and Anita, you are invited. You can come.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
We'll think about that. Thank you, as always, Dr. Mastanga.
Rita, sorry, not Anita. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mastanga. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
You're watching a News Central Television. This is The Conversation. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at PDP 2023 primaries and everything that has to do with it. We'll be right back after this.
Thank you so much for staying with us on The Conversation. On the first half, we talked about politics in Kenya as the election is fast gearing up August 9th, 2022. And we had Dr. David Mastanga, who told us that definitely there's no dispute among the members of the ruling president, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, even as he has supported Raila Odinga as successor for the 2022 elections. Now we take a look at issues in Nigeria.
Now, ahead of its 2023 presidential primaries on May the 29th, the opposition party in Nigeria, the People's Democratic Party, has reportedly settled for indirect primaries to pick its flag bearer for the forthcoming presidential election. The party is also reportedly looking towards reducing its 17 presidential aspirants by promoting consensus talks to persuade some of them to step down. As it stands, 13 presidential aspirants have obtained forms for the PDP presidential primary.
Now, the aspirants include Governor Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto State. We have a United States-based medical doctor, Nwachukwu Anakweze. Publisher of Ovation magazine, Dele Momodu. We also have Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State. We have an investment banker and economist, Mohammed Ayatuddin. A former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, is also vying. Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State. We also have a pharmacist, Sam Mohabunwa, and a former Ekiti State Governor, Ayodele Fayose. The list continues as others are former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Senate President Bukola Saraki, former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Ayim Pius Ayim, Governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, and Tariela Diana, who is the only female presidential aspirant in the party. That's a long list there. Now, join us live on The Conversation is Prince Francis Chilaka, a political analyst. He joins us from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us on The Conversation at this time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. So according to reports, it indicates that the PDP will go ahead with indirect primaries. What would indirect primaries mean for candidates on the People's Democratic Party?
Well, as a matter of fact, PDP has always been known to embark on indirect primaries, which most times does not favor the contestants. What it simply means is that it boils down to the fact that who has more money to spend. Because at the end of the day, you find out that people, the delegates are known, and the delegates want to be settled, which actually reduces the impact and the propensity of having a better candidate for the party. Because it means that if I have like 200 billion to spare, all I need to do is to buy all the delegates and they will vote for me. I think it's a very wrong step that PDP is taking. I think it is not in the best interest of the country for PDP at this point in time to embark on indirect primaries. What I would suggest to PDP is to look at having a consensus candidacy where they should look at who has who has more spread, who has more the liking of the people, who has more policies, who has the strength, who has the energy, who has the political will to be able to get Nigeria out of its present political quagmire. So I think that PDP should begin as a party to think out of the box.
No, thank you, Prince. Prince, there are reports that the party plans on promoting consensus talks, like you just suggested, as a means to reduce the number of candidates. How democratic is that? And do you think other aspirants, like former governor of Ekiti, Dele Fayose, would agree to a consensus, and also governor of Rivers State, Chief Nyesom Wike?
Well, we all know that, yes, some people are not really ready for presidential election. Some people are just there because they feel that, let's see what we can get. It's a bargaining strength they're putting forward. The truth of the matter is that we are in a situation where if PDP wants to really play politics as it should be played, PDP should be thinking about having a consensus candidacy. But let me also add that when people say consensus is not about the people, in terms of getting candidates for all the political parties, it has never been about the people. It's about the party. The party dictates who should be. Because ordinarily,
sorry to interject, sir, but there should be some level of internal democracy.
Well, the internal democracy we're talking about here now is for there to be a consensus candidacy. Because if you have like 50 people coming out to contest, in other words, what you're doing is that you are creating the personal desires of the so-called delegates, because these delegates are handpicked mostly by the governors of the state or whoever is in charge of PDP or whoever is the leader of PDP in each of the states. So we need to have internal politics where we say, okay, we have 18 aspirants. How do we reduce it to 1? How do we reduce it to 2? And that is where you begin to talk of consensus candidacy. We know those who are serious in terms of who are really, really serious. We know those who are not serious. So we'll reduce it to those who are serious. And if there are 2 or 3 people that are serious, then we can now say, okay, let us go to a proper election of whoever is serious.
And you feel this will not bring about some agreed members in the party. Now, you say that indirect primaries is undemocratic and that the PDP should rather go towards consensus. Some have also termed that a reported plan to jettison zoning by the party is undemocratic. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, we know that zoning is not part of our constitution. We know that zoning is just something that the political parties came together to put in place. In other words, it's actually a system meant to satisfy the selfish desires of some politicians. But now we are at crossroads. And I will tell you that whether you like it or not, what will really play out in 2033 in getting a proper candidate, in getting a candidate that has the desires of the people and Nigerians is consensus.
Okay, thank you very much, Prince. Now, the PDP, like the APC, still has its own share of internal feuding. There's a lot of intra-party feud in the PDP. Has there been any fruitful effort to cement the cracks in the PDP? Because there's a saying that a house divided cannot stand on its own.
The crack will always be there. This is Nigerian politics. People will always agree to disagree. But the important thing is that let us for once, let the political parties for once, shelve their interest as individuals and begin to think, what is the interest of the Nigerian people? What do the Nigerian people want? I'll tell you right now, the Nigerian people are tired of having leaders who are in the ages of 69, 70 plus. The Nigerian people they're desirous of a leader who is young at heart, young physically, who has a vision, who has the political will to carry the people along. So I think that, as a matter of fact, PDP should be thinking in that direction. as an opposition party. But honestly, they are not thinking in that direction as an opposition party. Because if you're thinking as an opposition party, what you would do as an opposition party is to look for those things that the present party is doing that is affecting the well-being of the Nigerian people and take advantage of it.
Okay, I know you cannot see the future, but you're talking about the party looking at people who are young at heart and people who will actually come to the needs of Nigerians. So far, we have about 13 candidates who have picked up the nomination form. Who do you think, in your own view, are the strong contenders so far?
I'll tell you that there are only two strong contenders in PDP right now. The first contender is Peter Obi. The second contender is Alhaji, the former vice president. I would say this with all sense of responsibility. Alhaji Atiku should actually be a man who molds people. He should actually be somebody who, at this age and time, is an enigma. He should be somebody who would say, I'm no longer interested in contesting Nigerian election. Let the younger people come out. He should be somebody promoting the young people. And let's move this country forward. Nobody is happy with the way Nigeria is today. And the only way to move Nigeria forward is by having a strong, energetic, young person as a president come 2023.
Now, Prince, you did mention something earlier with regards to indirect primaries as a way of enriching delegates. How do we make money irrelevant? How do we prevent the political class from weaponizing poverty and using money to induce voters?
Well, maybe what we should do is throw it open to everybody, no delegates. Maybe we need to go back to option A4. That is an option that has worked in this country. Everybody, as long as you are a party-carrying member of PDP, throw it open. Let everybody decide who they want. The issue is that almost every election period, we have always had indirect primaries where certain people are picked to decide for us who should be a candidate. But I think that if we want to remove phony politics from our system, we must allow the Nigerian people to choose their candidates.
Okay, now as a party, the PDP, we know it has failed to clinch victory in the presidential elections since 2015. That was when Goodluck Jonathan lost his second bid. Now, in your own view, what were some of the mistakes made by the party, and do you think the party has even learned any of the mistakes that has been that happened during the 2015 elections?
You mean
Can you hear me, Prince Francis?
2015, which of them?
2015 election.
This government came into power. And we all know that this government came on the wheel of, we are here to secure the lives and properties of the Nigerian people. Over time, how many lives have been secured? What security have this present government given to the Nigerian people? So these are questions. And for me, I think that it is high time the PDP takes advantage of that. And how do they take advantage of that? Look at the flaws in this present government. They've made a lot of promises to Nigerians. How many of these promises have they kept? They haven't kept any. But rather, instead of PDP to come out as a strong opposition party, I am not seeing that. I am still seeing PDP that is immersed in intra-party scramblings and all of that. But what I want is a party that comes out to tell the Nigerian people, let us know what you have. How do you intend as a party? How do your candidates or your aspirants intend to take Nigeria out of the present quagmire we have found ourselves? This is what PDP should focus on. PDP should not focus on, the issue of indirect primaries and all of that. No, PDP should be focusing on what do you have, what do your candidates have to be able to take Nigeria to the next level.
Now, Prince, just to buttress your point about the PDP not really playing opposition politics really well, because if you look at the state of affairs in Nigeria, there's quite a lot that is wrong with the system. And we remember the old PDP where Chief Olusemetu was publicity secretary. Every time there's an issue, there's always a response from the party. But you said the party is now merged in intra-party politics and divisions. Is it too late for the PDP to redeem itself as a political party? And what are the chances for the PDP in the coming 2023 elections?
It is not late, and I'll tell you why I say it's not late. If you follow the 2015 and 2019 election, you'll find out that what APC did was APC was on social media, APC was on the newsprint, APC was on the electronic media, telling Nigerians, looking at the issues that Nigerians were facing at that time and providing solutions. And that was why people came out en masse to vote for the APC. And this is what I expect the PDP to do. The PDP has every opportunity at its doorstep to educate people, to carry the Nigerian people along, to let the Nigerian people know that, okay, this is what has happened. This is what has happened. This party has promised you this, they were not able to deliver. This is what we want to do, and this is how we intend to go about it. Hold us accountable. It is high time the political parties begin to have and sign what I call social contract with the Nigerian people. We must go beyond your campaign promises. We want actions. We want verifiable actions. We want you to be able to tell us, I will do this, and do them. And it is high time that the Nigerian people begins to hold people accountable, hold their leaders accountable for whatever they are doing. But unfortunately, nobody holds the leaders accountable. And as it is, the PDP itself is not even working towards that. Rather, the PDP is busy on its own fighting itself. This is not acceptable. I think that the PDP should get out of their intra-party fighting. I think that the PDP should now, at this point in time, take advantage of the social media, reach out to the Nigerian people, share the pains of the Nigerian people, and tell the Nigerian people from the depth of their heart that we can solve this problem. I can assure you, they will take over in 2023.
All right, Prince, you talk about verifiable actions from the party, especially when they come out with their campaigns. Now, they have until June to release their candidates for the 2023 elections, as said by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Now, apart from the political parties, a major stakeholder in this 2023 elections is the electoral umpire, which is INEC. Now, do you feel that INEC is well equipped to give Nigerians a free and fair elections that they so hope for?
Well, I think that I'll tell you this, that I think that INEC has not done well, maybe because of the rules setting up INEC. I think that INEC should go a step further to also participate in screening whoever the parties present as a candidate. Because if INEC is doing that, we will, at the end of the day, have people, men and women of honor and proven integrity. I think INEC is not ready, but I think that INEC can also be ready overnight. All INEC needs to do is to put their house in order. All INEC needs to do is to ensure that candidates who are being presented by these political parties have what it takes. They have all the documents prepared. They have all their certificates. They have no fraud charges against them. So we must get INEC to work beyond just accepting whoever the party sent to them. Unfortunately, we've seen in the last few days where INEC staffs are being killed. Also, the federal government needs to give INEC staffs enough security protection, because in the country today, there is total insecurity. So we need that as a matter of urgency.
Okay, okay, Prince. All right. Now, while we're still looking at the INEC being a suitable stakeholder for the 2023 elections, we know that Nigerian elections, unfortunately, have been characterized by voter apathy. We see Nigerians who say, why do I need to go to the polls to vote? Because my vote does not actually count. Do you see this playing out in the 2023 elections? And what can Nigeria do to improve the voter participation in elections?
Well, it's sad that we have that kind of mindset, but I'll say this to Nigerians. Everybody's election, everybody's vote counts. If the votes do not count, I'll tell you, politicians will not be, saving up money to be able to buy votes on the election day. Nigerians need to wake up. Nigerians need to realize that power belongs to the people. Nigerians need to go out there, get their voters card, and get ready to vote the candidate that they believe will give them, a country that they can be proud of, a country they can wake up and say, I am proud being a Nigerian. That is what we need to do as a people. So every Nigerian should go out there, get their voters card, and use it, and ensure that their votes count. Stay after the elections. Make sure that the votes are counted. Make sure that the votes are transmitted before you leave your polling booth.
Thank you very much, Prince Francis Chilaka. It was a pleasure having you join us to discuss this issue. We appreciate your insights.
All right, so that's where we'll draw the curtains for today's edition of The Conversation. Earlier on, we looked at Kenyan politics. And for the second belt, we looked at Nigeria. That is the ruling opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, which, according to reports, have opted for indirect primaries to choose their presidential candidate for the 2023 elections. And all eyes are on elections for 2023 in Nigeria. And we do hope for free and fair elections. I am Rita Omodia. Do join us again on Wednesday, and happy Easter Monday.
Bye-bye.